Hey, welcome back to Squarebody Stuff. I'm your lovely host, Chad, and today we're going to be working on my K30 crew cab I call Buddy. But right now I'm just kind of relaxing for a minute after work underneath my shade tree, or one of my shade trees, my pear tree. It's just loaded down with pears right now, having a little bit of a drink and watching Zeus do his thing and watching my garden grow for a little bit before I get into the shop. What we got going on, if you want to get caught up, I'll put a deal up here in the corner. You can click on that to really get caught up on what happened to Buddy. But yeah, I broke a bunch of stuff on him the other day, and this video is going to be about what I'm doing to repair it. Front drive shaft, some transfer case repair, so stick around to watch that. This video may jump around a little bit because the first part of the repair thing is going to be was from a couple days ago. I've had to work some extra hours at work, so we'll pick up where I left off, and I'll try to smooth all the footage out as far as the repair work in the shop. But we'll get to it, and just stick around. Yeah, it's just broken U-joint. I think I've got another drive shaft, so not too awful worried about it. The slip yoke's still just hanging there. I'm pretty sure I've got another usable drive shaft. We'll see what happened on the rear end. Yeah, broke the whole output shaft off, or the output housing off. And I think I've got another one of them somewhere. I've got a bucket full of transfer case parts. Hopefully I've got what I need in there so I don't have to actually pull the transfer case or do any of that. I'll just be able to do it while it's in the truck. That'll save me some time. Yeah, I dug around my lean-to over there and come up with another drive shaft. That's pretty well the same length. It ought to work. And output housing and the output shaft, it looks a little rough, but it'll clean up if I have to use it. I'm not sure that it hurt the gear or anything. I think it just busted that housing and allowed that shaft to come off. But I've got the whole transfer case. Actually, I got 2 or 3 whole transfer cases if it's worse than just these 2 parts. But so I'm gonna get the front drive shaft put in. That way I could actually drive him under his own power, because right now he's got nothing. He's all neutrals. So we'll get the drive shaft in, get him pulled in the shop, and start tearing apart this transfer case. Alright, we're going to be doing it in the dirt. It'd help turn it the right way. I got the front slip yoke off. I usually just leave one of the straps in there, so whenever I go back together, I can just slide that one side in, and I don't have to fool with taking that one all the way off. Now I just got to get my wham packed and get these 4 bolts here on that flange and pull that cardan joint off. Universal joint, whatever you want to call it. Not sure if you guys will be able to see that or not, but there you go. Oh, they got the old one out. It looks like it's more or less rebuildable. Just broke the U-joint. But I'll go ahead and put this drive shaft in there for now because the joints seem good. shaft is about the same length. The splines are a little bit different splines. Actually, I think this is one I made years ago out of a rear drive shaft, and this is where the carrier bearing would have went, so it's got extra long splines. I think we'll be alright with these. I'll clean these up, kind of clean the flange up a little bit, lube up the U-joints and lube everything up on this joint, and we'll slap it back together. When you're putting a drive shaft together, you gotta make sure you get them phased right. And by phasing, I mean getting this U-joint in line with this one. Because if you don't, your drive shaft will bind up and you'll end up breaking U-joints. So just a little bit of a tech tip while we're here. It's got a little bit of extra play that I wish it didn't have, but we'll be alright. Yeah, let's see if we can get this thing back together. Well, we got the front drive shaft in. He ought to be able to move himself around under his own power. Hopefully we don't break anything just moving him into the shop. I'll get Maxine out of the shop and get Buddy pulled in, and we'll start working on the transfer case. The first thing I'm going to do is get this drive shaft out of the way. In order to get my drive shaft moved back far enough out of the way to get it off the yoke, I had to take my 2 bolts on my carrier bearing, just loosen them up so that carrier bearing would slide back. Oh, there we go. There's our output shaft. It just broke off. Alright, I got everything out of the truck now. I kind of sorted through some of the parts I had and what I need, but I'm going to show you first what actually broke here. A little worse than what I thought it was going to be at first. Here's the output shaft. Broke it. Of course, all the bearings and everything was stayed in here, so I don't believe I've got anything else in the transfer case. The bearing housing on the back, the bearing was fine, the rear bearing was fine, but so I had 2 output shafts that would work. Had another output shaft housing, but all the bearings were missing out of them. So what I did was I got a spare transfer case. I drug it out of the weeds and pulled the output shaft housing out of it. It's just one chunk. I'll be able to clean up the gasket surface on this and the transfer case and just slide this whole unit in. Yeah, honestly, it looks like that output shaft had been cracked or fractured for a while. And if you haven't been catching or keeping up on the channel, there's a video. I'll put it up here in the corner too. Here a while back that I broke the rear drive shaft. I'm kind of hard on this old truck. I shouldn't be so hard on it, but yeah, why not? You can catch that video and see what happened there. I broke the rear drive shaft. So I think that actually got fractured in the during that. And then, I mean, shoot, that thing's had a lot of years, at least 10+ years of me abusing the crap out of it. So I've never had to touch the transfer case since I put it in probably about 16 years ago. So, and same thing on the front drive shaft. If I remember right, that front drive shaft, that U-joint that broke was, that drive shaft was getting a lot of wear in it. So, I may leave the 37s on there for a little while longer. I don't know if I want to, unless I can find a whole set of used tires. I'm not sure if I want to put, $1,000 in brand new tires on a truck that only drive every once in a while. I just need to be smart when I'm driving it and using it and try not to overdo it. But it just broke, and I think it's a years and years of hard abuse catching up to this thing. So I'll get this thing cleaned up and we'll get it ready to stick back in the truck, and we'll crawl underneath the truck and put it back in, and hopefully that's the only thing left we got to do to get him back on the road. About the trickiest part to putting this back in is going to be these bearings inside there. I have to take them out with a magnet, and once I get ready to go back together, I have put a bunch of grease in there and hold them back in with grease. Alright, I've got my gasket surfaces all cleaned up on the output shaft housing and on the transfer case. I got a thin layer of RTV, good high temp stuff on the transfer case. I've got my bearings set out here. Got to put these bearings in first, then this washer, and then this retainer. The best way to do that is get you some grease. Put down in the hole. It's dark down there, you can't see it, but and maybe a little bit on the bearings. And you can see those bearings are nice and tight in there, and shouldn't go anywhere with that grease holding them in. This unit's ready to slide in. I've got my shift collar pushed forward. That way it's not going to be in the way. I should just be able to slide that whole unit up in there. Start my bolts, get everything tightened up, and put the drive shaft back in. It should be ready to go. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing wallered in here. A little tech tip: get you a set of little stubby wrenches. These are just some cheap ones from, I think they're just from Walmart. No more than what you use them. There's no sense in spending a bunch of money on a set, but they come in real handy in situations like this. Alright, everything's back together. I got my carrier bearing tightened back up. I'll be about ready for a test drive. Oh, I forgot my speedometer cable, which it's pretty well shot anyways. Huh, look at there. Oh well. We'll figure something out on that. Alright, we got Buddy all back together. I think he's ready for the road. Might take him on a little short road trip this evening. I got the cooling fans fixed. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in this video or maybe the prior video, but got the cooling fans fixed. All it was a relay for my passenger side fan. I got it fixed, had another relay in a toolbox, and so cooling fans are working. I've got four-wheel drive again. Should be good to go for a little while. Hopefully next time I have to use him, I'll take it easy and not break anything. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe. You can hit the button over here, hit that button over here, and it'll give you a subscribe, or down below. Check out, I'll have some links to some playlists and stuff down in the description. Check out these videos over here. Until next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling, and we'll catch you later.